There's a perception among some men that the only men who would hire a provider, say an escort, a massage therapist, a dominatrix, anything like that, a personal service like that, they think that this is only for men who cannot get women otherwise. And that is the furthest thing from the truth. I found a tweet where this provider was saying that for most men, the payment layer removes the emotional labor, responsibility, and expectations of any conventional relationship. And I definitely agree with that. I definitely agree with that because these guys who never get women imagine that there's a world of men who can get women at the drop of a hat. And you can't. A man cannot just walk into a grocery store, find an attractive woman, one that he finds attractive, and say, "You want to fuck?" That will not happen. And we know this because people have done these experiments on college campuses where they do tests, like they have a man standing there going up to a bunch of women saying, "Do you want to go home with me?" And none of them said yes. But then when you have a woman going up to a man and saying, would you take me home? Most of the men will say yes. So this idea that men can, even chads, they cannot just get a woman just like that. They have to invest some amount of emotional labor. I'm going to call it emotional labor. You have to be on. You have to court her. You have to listen to her. You have to engage with her. You have to know how to talk to the woman to get her interested in you. You have to have some manner of presenting yourself, put yourself out there. And usually you have to spend some time with the woman, buying her drinks, taking her to dinner. There's some kind of an investment involved. And this investment can be short. Like if you're like a super good looking guy on a dating app, maybe you get lucky and some woman comes right over, but it won't be a very emotionally healthy or good looking woman. It'll be some very fat woman or someone who's like kind of psycho, because normal women don't just come right over. Or you're going to have to meet her, go out with her, and so on. And you're still not guaranteed that there will be any sex if that's specifically what you're after. Or you have to meet a woman through your friends. You have to meet her somehow. Even when people are going to swinger events, and I know because I was involved in that community many years ago for just a few months, the women who are there for casual sex, you got to court them. You have to talk to them. They got to see if they like you, and these are women who are there just to fuck. Okay, so even if you've done all that and you do get the woman, you have spent time, you've spent money, you've put yourself out there, maybe you're going to take her home. Now what? Now you've come, you want to get out of there. What's a good way to get out of there? Because a decent man is going to feel very guilty just leaving. The woman may want a relationship. She might expect you to call her again. And maybe you don't want that. So it's not as easy as just like call a pussy. So by paying for something, it's just easy. You can pick the woman you want out of an ad and decide who you want to see, and it's very effective. The same way that a woman might schedule a pedicure. Not that she can't do her own pedicure or find someone to do it for her. She's paying for the convenience, for a good experience. Or the way I pay someone to color the roots of my hair. I can do it myself. I can certainly do it myself, but I like how she does it. And the same way that I pay to get a massage. I think that's probably a good analogy because sure, I could go into a grocery store and I can get a guy, probably pretty easily, to come over here and give me a massage. But just think of all the baggage that comes with it. He will probably want more. I don't know if he's going to be good at it. I might not want him touching me. So for a woman, I have these additional layers. But he might end up touching me in other places. I would rather just pay for it and get a good massage. Not because I can't find a guy to give me a massage, but because of all the complexities and baggage and expectations that come with it. And emotionally healthy men are usually not down for a hookup because they know that the woman is going to get a little bit emotionally attached and they don't want to deal with that. Or men who are very busy working or they travel a lot. Like, I have, 10 hours to myself a week. I'm not going to invest 6 hours of it looking for a hookup. I would rather just pay for it because I value my time. That's the typical thing. Now, the guys who can't get women don't understand what is involved in getting a woman for sex and all the aftermath. And I know from having had sex with lesbian women, lesbians are very different when it comes to hookups. Sure, they still will do them, but there's a dinner involved, there's an overnight involved, there's a lot of texting. I still smell your scent on me. I miss you so much. Your kisses linger on my lips. When can I see you again? They usually, even if they just want to hook up, they're a lot more emotional about it. And it's a lot more time investment. If you just want quick sex, you're better off being a guy having sex with other guys because you can just put your penis through a hole in a wall in some bookstore, I'm exaggerating, or go to some orgy because guys are just, they don't have all that emotional investment required before and after to enjoy the sexual experience. Incels would not know this, and by incels, I'm talking about men who don't easily get women. They imagine that the men who are very attractive and have good social skills can easily get women, but they still have to invest significant emotional investment, like putting yourself out there, pretending to be interested in the woman, listening to her talk, getting her, courting her, and all that. Money, time, and then her expectations on the other end. Or she could just be some kind of a psycho. I also think that men don't realize that even if you're going to like a polyamory party or a swinger club and you're a sexual provider, you're around a woman who likes sex and wants to have sex with you, but you still have to do a lot more to get her turned on, to engage her before she will want to have sex with you. Unlike, I'm imagining, like you get a bunch of gay men in a room and the clothes fly off and they're just sucking each other's penises. Women don't operate like that. You always have to know how to engage with the woman. You need to have some amount of wherewithal and social skills, some kind of courage, some relational skills, even when you're paying. So I thought this was very interesting. I came across this on my Twitter. I'm like, I have to make a video about this. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will say that, just from talking to men and women I've known who were in the industry, not every man is going to participate in something like that. Some men would just never do it, but some men are just a little bit more adventurous. And the way that the industry has evolved is that there are just so many high-grade women who offer that kind of service, and especially the massage. A lot of men love getting a massage, or they're sexually curious, and people are getting more comfortable with the internet and looking up services on the internet. So, but there are a lot of men who would never do anything like that. There are a lot of men who would never cheat. I'm not saying that all men would do that, but I just wanted to say that just based on the women and the men I've talked to, I just wanted to debunk that myth. And I think there's also another myth that the men who visit women like that are very like scummy, whereas most of them are very well-to-do, professional, very good-looking men, like you would never expect. But I think that the image of the kind of man who would do that comes from the mugshots of the men who are pedophiles and who go after streetwalkers and sex trafficked women, because that's where the police do their stings. And these men are usually very, I want to call them trailer trash. Not that there's anything wrong with living in a trailer, especially now, but I'm talking about people who are not well put together, who are maybe a little dirty looking, don't have good teeth, good hygiene, and lack good social skills. These are the kind of men that are picked up on in the raids that they do, where they're looking for men going after underage women or trafficked women. And then they do their mug shots. And these men look very scary and very scummy, and very gross and disgusting. And so those are the pictures we see. But don't forget, wasn't there a guy who owns a football team, an elderly man in Florida, Robert someone, who a few years ago was caught getting a massage with a happy ending, a very wealthy man? That's a typical guy, okay? It's not like he can't get it for free, okay? So obviously he had a reason for paying for it, especially a man with a lot of money, a well-to-do man. He doesn't want to just do a hookup because he doesn't want some woman to just attach to him just to get his money. It's much easier to just have a discreet appointment with a provider. Unless, of course, these guys are looking for a relationship, and then they're not doing this at all. These type of guys tend to be really monogamous in their relationships. Unless, of course, they're in some kind of like, my wife doesn't like sex at all. She never liked sex. And this is a way for me to get my needs met in a way that keeps me and my wife safe. So I've just heard all these different kinds of stories. You know, I'm not like any expert on the subject. I haven't done any surveys. I'm just going by what people have told me. And so I just thought you guys might find this video interesting, and I will be back for the comments.